So, when you think about security at your job, what's the first thing that pops into your head? A security guard, maybe? A key card scanner at the door? For a long time, that was pretty much it. But today, real security, well, it's a whole different ballgame. It's a complete, multi-layered strategy. So let's dive in and figure out how to build that modern security shield.
And I want to start by asking you a really direct question. Is your workplace truly secure? I'm not just talking about someone breaking in from the outside. I mean from the inside, too. It's a question that honestly should make all of us stop and think beyond just the usual locks and alarms.
Because here's the thing. A modern security shield isn't just one single piece of tech. It's a complete strategy. It's about anticipating risks before they happen, actively preventing incidents, and having a rock-solid plan for when things go wrong. That's the whole picture we're going to build out today.
Okay, first things first. We have to be able to spot the hidden risks. This means looking at the entire spectrum of threats, from the super obvious ones to the really subtle stuff, before they ever get a chance to blow up into a full-blown crisis. This is, you could say, the foundational layer of our shield.
You know, risks aren't always some bad guy trying to break in. A lot of the time, they can be embedded right inside the organization itself. We're talking about things like behavioral warning signs, an employee who's clearly in distress, or environmental vulnerabilities, like a blind spot in a hallway. And even the company culture can be a risk, you know? If it discourages people from speaking up, that creates huge security blind spots.
So threats basically break down into two main camps. You've got your internal threats, think a disgruntled employee or someone who just ignores policy, and then you have the external threats, like an intruder. But here's the real kicker. These two worlds often collide. An external threat might actually exploit the unhappiness of an employee on the inside. So a really good plan has to deal with dangers from both inside and out, and get how they can feed off each other. So, if we know what the risks are, how do we actually stop them? Well, that brings us to what is maybe the most important stage of all, proactive prevention. And this isn't just about writing a bunch of rules, it's about building a genuine culture of safety that strengthens our shield day in and day out.
The big takeaway here is this: the absolute best defense is a proactive offense. But security can't do it alone. It's just not possible. This has to be a team effort, pulling together people from HR, management, legal, and security to create one united front. Everybody's got a piece of this puzzle.
This culture of safety is really held up by four key pillars. First, you've got to form a dedicated threat assessment team. Second, you need crystal clear policies so there's absolutely no confusion. Third, train your employees because knowledge is an incredibly powerful tool. And finally, you have to create safe, confidential ways for people to report things they're worried about without any fear. That right there is the bedrock of prevention.
Now, let's be real. Even with the best prevention in the world, we have to be prepared to respond if a crisis hits. In those critical moments, a plan isn't just some document sitting in a binder. It's a lifeline. When a crisis hits, panic is the enemy. It's just pure chaos. So what beats it? A clear, well-practiced plan that gives everyone a simple path to follow. That's exactly why regular drills aren't just for checking a box. They build the muscle memory that can literally save lives.
A lot of organizations train their people on the run, hide, fight protocol. It's a really simple, step-by-step way to make decisions. First option, if you see a clear path, run, get out of there. If you can't, your next move is to hide. Barricade the door, stay quiet, make sure your phone is on silent. And then, only as an absolute last resort, when your life is in immediate danger, fight.
Now, for that protocol to actually work, you need some tangible tools in place. This means regular training drills, and not just once a year. It means having a solid emergency communication system to blast information out instantly. And crucially, it means having a coordinated response plan worked out with local law enforcement before anything ever happens.
All right, let's zoom out a bit. No organization is an island, right? Real strength comes from working together and using intelligence smartly to reinforce that security shield from the outside.
This brings us to a really key concept: corporate intelligence. It sounds super fancy, but it's really just about being a good detective. It's all about collecting and analyzing information, anything from online chatter to local incident reports, to connect the dots. So, for example, a company might see some escalating threats online against an executive. Combine that with a report of a suspicious car nearby, and step in before anything bad ever happens.
And that intelligence, it becomes so much more powerful through partnership.
Having a strong, ongoing relationship with law enforcement isn't just for emergencies. It's for sharing info, planning together, and building a more resilient community defense. It's absolutely critical.
So, where is all of this going? The future, it seems, is all about fusion. About tearing down the walls that have separated the physical and the digital security worlds for so long.
People in the industry call this convergence, and trust me, it's a huge debate. On the one hand, if you merge physical and cybersecurity, you can get way smarter intelligence and faster responses. But on the other hand, it makes everything more complex, and it could open up brand new vulnerabilities you never thought of. It's a trade-off every single organization has to think about really carefully.
But there's this one quote that I think just perfectly captures the argument for doing it. A locked server room is useless if the network is undefended. It really says it all, right? The threats are blended now, so our defenses have to be blended too. You just can't protect the physical stuff without protecting the digital, or the other way around.
And that really leaves us with a final question to chew on. As our physical and digital lives continue to merge into one, is a siloed security strategy, one that keeps these two worlds totally separate, a risk we can really afford to take anymore?